2025 was an amazing year for games. Any genre you're into, there's an incredible game for you. This was no exception for me. I had trouble making a top 10 list because I really liked most of the games I played that released this year. Two things you'll notice in this list are, there aren't really many big name titles on the list that made most people's lists, and games that are 7 out of 10 that I love like 10 out of 10. Indies really struck a chord for me this year in a way they haven't in a long time. It's part of why I decided to do a 2026 goal of beating 52 indies. I will be talking more about that in an upcoming podcast. And a number of games I liked this year were by no means perfect, but they resonated with me in a very big way that made them important to me. So without further ado, let's dive in. Honorable mention, Unbeatable. Developer, D-Cell, and publisher, Playstack. This game easily could have made the list if not for a very buggy PS5 version. Unbeatable is a game set in a world where music is illegal and you do crime. Story mode sees you play as Beat, a mysterious character with a great voice who sets off with her crew Quaver, Clef, and Treble, you can see the naming convention here, to bring down harm and bring music back. Honestly, the story ends so strong and it tugged at my heart. Gameplay consists of 3 main styles: narrative walking and talking, rhythm-based mini-games, and normal rhythm game style music sessions. I only had one bug in story mode, which was fine, it happens. The game also has arcade mode, which is where you have the classic play song you choose on difficulty you choose, get a high score, then keep trying to beat those high scores, which is fun and fantastic. But here's where the bugs really hit. The game wouldn't save my arcade data. Every time I even just exit out to the main menu and go back in, it acts like I've never played before. And selecting songs, I'll occasionally select a song, play it, go back to song selection, and it actually was a different song name, not the one I had selected. These progress-halting bugs are what kept an incredible game off a list it very easily could have made. One thing you should know, this seems to only happen with the console version. The PC version appears to be perfectly fine, and I can't recommend the game enough on that platform. Now, an addendum after that, I deleted the game and reinstalled it. It seems to be keeping track in arcade mode now. But it wasn't acknowledging that I had the deluxe edition of the game, and the 20-some songs that came with the deluxe edition weren't showing up. Too many bugs. Now, let's start the list. Number 10, Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2. Developer, The Chinese Room. Publisher, Paradox Interactive. I love the World of Darkness. All thanks to my falling in love with Vampire the Masquerade. After playing multiple visual novels and reading books, listening to live plays, I was told to check out Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, the PC game from 2004, with the specific mod that makes the game fantastic, which I did. And it was very, very fun. It was also too much for me. Too deep of an RPG. Something I enjoy in tabletop, but not as much in video games. Enter the sequel, Bloodlines 2. Originally set to release many years ago, the game went through numerous delays and even a complete reset when it changed developers. But after all the changes and iterations, it finally arrived. The game was bound to be divisive due to the wild departure from how the original game was. The original let you create a character and had a semi-open world of different cities, while the sequel lets you pick your gender, but no matter what, sees you playing as Fire in a semi-open world of about 6 blocks by 7 blocks of Seattle, with a few smaller areas you travel to. That's just to name a few differences. But all the changes that would make fans of the first go, I don't know about this, made me realize this game was for me. I really enjoyed the characters, making me want to talk to and get to know all of them, even the ones I hated. The story wasn't perfect or anything, but I enjoyed it for what it was, and when I got to the end and realized who was behind everything, I had one of those Saw moments where parts of the game flashed before my eyes, making me realize I should have suspected this person, but didn't. Combat was by far the weakest part of the game, feeling somewhat repetitious with limited moves. Then again, I was a Toreador who focuses more on movement and persuasion, so that's partly my fault for the clan I chose. What really does it for me is the setting. Seattle at Christmas time, snow all over the ground, a Christmas tree in the park with Christmas lights and decorations all over. It might legitimately be my second favorite setting in any game ever. Bloodlines 2 absolutely won't be for everyone, and it's not perfect, but it's perfect for me, so it deserves a spot on this list. 9. Tormented Souls 2. Developer Dual Effect, publisher P-Cube. I bought Tormented Souls the day it came out. Had it pre-ordered even. But it still took like a year to finally play it. And what I ended up with was a game that would stick with me forever in its love and inspiration of the Resident Evil and Silent Hills of a bygone era. Enter 2025 and the sequel, Tormented Souls 2. I was worried the sequel could never hold up to the original. And while I still think the original might be a better game, I think the sequel is the one I enjoy more. We see Caroline Walker bringing her sister Anna to a remote monastery to try and help her relax and heal from the events of the first game. Little do they know, they're in for horror they never expected. And honestly, neither did I. There's a story revelation maybe halfway through, heck no, I won't spoil it, that had me at first going, wait, really? That's what they're doing? But I fast learned to love it and be all in on it. Filled with challenging puzzles, I admittedly needed help with a number of them, and grotesque creatures, this sequel's Lovecraftian addition to the series was a wonderful experience. Number 8, Spilled. Developer, I apologize if I say this incorrectly. I will apologize if I say any developers or publishers incorrectly. I'm not meaning to. It is me trying, genuinely. Developer Lente, publisher Lente. A beautiful little game. Spilled is a game about using a boat to clean up oil spills. With a basic premise of clean up oil, get money, use the money to upgrade your boat, clean more oil, etc. A very simple game, but gave me so much joy and happiness playing it. Every moment of this game made me smile. Number 7, Hotel Barcelona. Developer White Owls Inc. Publisher Cult Games. Suda51 is one of my favorite creators in gaming, making some of the most unique games. Sweary65 is one of my favorite creators in gaming, making some of the most unique games. So you can see why a game made by Suda51 and Sweary65 would instantly be on my radar. I don't know what I expected before it came out. Maybe a side-scrolling action game? What I didn't expect was a roguelike side-scrolling action game, and I'm so happy I was wrong. Featuring the staples I expect and love from both creators, such as beautiful art, wacky and wonderful characters, and a fun world, the game also featured interesting boss encounters and fun combat that is heavier than I expected, and can admittedly get repetitive, but thankfully the game doesn't outstay its welcome and left me with such a good time. Number 6, Death Stranding 2 On the Beach. Developer Kojima Productions, publisher Sony Interactive Entertainment. I really enjoyed the first game, but I didn't love it. I don't even remember if it made my top 10 for that year. But Death Stranding 2, featuring one of the funniest subtitles to me, On the Beach, left a lasting impression. I'm sure knowing the characters and world already led to the story kicking off faster, getting me into it immediately, and kicking off the adventure with a bang. There were admittedly some story elements that had me saying, are they really going in this direction? And didn't work for me at first, leaving me puzzled at best and downright not feeling like continuing at worst. Then they made those moments pop and sucked my emotions in. The gameplay was also kicked up a notch. Quality of life improvements over the first game made the driving and gunplay easier to work with, and combat more of an I can do this instead of do I have to do this? We're going to take a brief break and come back and get to the bottom 5. Alright, let's hit it. Number 5, Silent Hill F. Developer Neobards, publisher Konami. The first original game in the Silent Hill series since Book of Memories for the PS Vita in 2012. Silent Hill F brought the series out of the titular town and into a new setting, 60s rural Japan. The setting of the game, the atmosphere of it, is so chilling and beautiful. Instead of the classic, it's foggy and the darkness is here, situation the series normally brings, this foggy town hosts haunting flowers, vines, and weeds, almost like Hinako is fighting back against nature. And as I typed this out, I saw the significance of that in a way I hadn't yet before. Speaking of Hinako, I think she's such a good and fascinating character. Even just by the time you get the first ending, I just look at her and think, I'm sorry this has happened to you. Going between the chilling town and the dark and shadowy temple settings, you see the two gameplay varieties in action, as they express the turmoil inside. Not everything about the game is perfect, as combat can be pretty clunky, but never enough for me to get frustrated, and puzzles that, well, they aren't bad, they aren't good either. They're just okay. And when I think Silent Hill, I usually expect more from the puzzles. The thing this game did best is set itself apart in the series. The next time someone asks me, what Silent Hill game should I start with? I will confidently give this one in response. Number 4, Shinobi Art of Vengeance. Developer Sega and Lizard Cube, publisher Sega. Well, a month before this game came out, I wasn't even interested in it. I was coming off of Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, one of the first ever real side-scrolling action games. One of my first ever real side-scrolling action games. And thinking, wow, that was great. And that Shinobi game is coming out. I don't know about that. Maybe I should download the demo and try it. I played 5 minutes of the demo, immediately deleted it, and went and pre-ordered the game. Shinobi Art of Vengeance delivered on everything I didn't realize I wanted in a game like this. Normal levels instead of Metroidvania style, combos that you buy from a shop, and a main character that speaks only in grunts. Shinobi made me realize I'm into another genre I thought wasn't for me. I completely lost my spot. There we go. Challenge rooms in each level, and secret places only accessible via items and attachments you get later. There are so many reasons to return to previous locations. And even more beautiful is fast travel to multiple locations in each level. Joe Musashi, I salute you and your grunting ways for bringing me a game with beautiful art and some of the best gameplay of the year. 3. South of Midnight. Developer, Compulsion Games. Publisher, Xbox Game Studios. Remember how I mentioned this was a year of 7 out of 10s that I love? This is the biggest one. Set in the Deep South, you play as Hazel, a girl who is helping her mother prepare for a storm. After a bad argument, her home and mother are swept away in a flood. This leads Hazel on an extraordinary journey to discover herself, her powers, and her history. Let me start with the bad, with why this game is a 7 out of 10. The combat is okay. Not bad, not great, just okay. Some variety, but overall the fighting can get repetitive. And you know it's not the most important part of the game since they give you the option to skip all combat. I also love the stop motion animation of it, but I can easily see why people aren't enamored by it. But for all the reasons it's not great, it also oozes with personality and charm. One of the things I love about this game is the story behind the game. All the folklore stories the game are based on are stories that are passed down through generations of families, not stories you'll often read about in books. This leads to fantastical tales with vibrant characters and beautiful locations. Also, the use of music in the game is precise. It has its normal scores for each setting and situation, but the bosses have exceptional tracks that use music as part of the combat, story, and gameplay. For every logical point I can take off a review for something the game doesn't do well, I have 5 points I can give it for its emotional payoff. This game is the reason I've gotten into Southern Gothic stories, settings, and lore, and this game will stick with me for life. Number 2. Promise Mascot Agency. Developer, Kaizen Gameworks. Publisher, Kaizen Gameworks. Who knew one of the games that would speak to me most in 2025 is a quirky open world game where you drive around, do side quests, and help manage a mascot agency. I sure didn't. In a world where mascots are real and you're a Yakuza who's tasked with running a downtrodden mascot agency, things like grinding your truck down a rail, collecting merchandise via a giant claw machine to sell, and helping mascots get through their missions using a card-based minigame, all while trying to overthrow corruption in town, would be normal aspects of life. Kaizen Gameworks crafted a beautifully wacky world that's fun to explore, some of the most ridiculous and best characters that will stick with me for life, looking at you, Tofu, excuse me, and a soundtrack that I will listen to often. A game that needs to be played. Promise Mascot Agency is a game I'll recommend to anyone and everyone. And finally, Game of the Year. Rift of the Necrodancer. Developer, Brace Yourself Games, and publisher, Clay Publishing. I enjoyed Crypt of the Necrodancer quite a bit. I was bad at it, and never got far, but I really enjoyed it. The music always stuck out to me as being exceptional and moving. Literally, it made me sway to the beat. So fast forward a few years to PAX East. Excuse me. To PAX East when I'm walking through the convention hall and see a booth that has Rift of the Necrodancer. So I decided to check it out. I really dug it and decided to keep my eye on this. Fast forward even more to 2025 when the game releases on Steam. Thankfully, a friend gifted me the game so I could start playing right away. And let me tell you, it changed my gaming trajectory for the year. I love rhythm games, and I've played a lot of them. So I'm not new to them, and have experienced a lot of the different takes on the note chart. I think Rift of the Necrodancer does the note chart in such a fun and fascinating way. Multiple different enemies, each with their own unique varieties, and acting in their own ways, such as basic skeletons or slimes that you hit once, to advanced skeletons you hit once, then dances up the note chart to right underneath the next enemy, to bats that switch lanes as you hit them, and so many more. The enemy variety is fun and varied. Along with the arcade mode, the game also has different minigames such as yoga or boss battles that give you more new gameplay elements. Rift of the Necrodancer is such a refreshing and fun addition to the rhythm genre, and a game I'll constantly revisit. There you have it. My top 10, technically 11, games of 2025. There are many games I didn't get to play that I wanted, or didn't finish that I wanted to. Maybe I'll talk about them in another one. But almost every game I played left me with a positive outlook. Gaming is in such a good place right now for smaller teams to have a bigger impact, and we are starting to see that. What games will make the list in 2026? Only time will tell. What are your favorite games of 2025?